In the worldwide war against crime, there are men and women trained to sink their own identity in the international underworld. They work alone, in danger and in shadow, unrecognized by friend and enemy alike. They are the operators of the almost legendary Ghost Squad.
This case began in Lubanik, a city in Central Europe.
Stefan.
Hello, Anna.
Oh, my darling, I've missed you so much.
I know. But it won't be like this for very much longer. Just a few more weeks, and then things will be just as they were before.
You promise?
I promise. Are you not going to answer it? Could be very important.
Anna Linschka speaking. Yes. Look, I can't talk now. You see, What? Now? Oh, no, not me. Please, I beg you. Yes, I know, but surely. I see. Yes. Very well.
Shall I open the wine now, darling?
Yes, please. But first, I have a little surprise for you.
Oh, really? How nice. What is it?
Turn round. Close your eyes. No looking.
No looking. Come on, darling. What is it?
This.
Why, Anna? Why?
The assassination of Prime Minister Kubitz was big news. The fact that an American was held for the killing put the story on the front pages of the world. One of the first men to get the full seriousness of the situation was Sir Andrew Wilson, head of the Ghost Squad.
Looks as though this Frank Maine is in a pretty tough spot.
Frank Maine, the American they're holding for the killing. Yes. But it's not just a case of a man on trial for his life. The whole of the Western security system depends on whether or not he's found guilty.
Sounds like you've had a visit from the political boys.
I have, and they've good reason to worry. Do you know anything about Lubanik? Do you know where it is?
Only that it's the capital city of a mid-European country poised, as the newspapers say, precariously between east and west.
In this case, the newspapers are quite right. Precarious is the word, geographically and politically. Look, it's virtually surrounded by pro-communist satellite states. In spite of that, Stefan Kubitz managed to keep his country free from domination.
That's quite a feat under the circumstances.
Quite a feat, as you say. Of course, Kubitz had a genius for clever diplomacy. But his real strength lay in the fact that the overwhelming mass of the people was solidly behind him.
Well, it figures. I remember he was quite a hero during the war.
He was a mighty good prime minister after it. That's why no communist candidate stood a chance against him in the elections.
But now he's dead.
Not just dead, Craig, murdered. And with the elections only 6 weeks away, the communists are going to exploit the present wave of anti-Americanism for everything that it's worth.
But how much is it worth?
If this American, Frank Maine, is found guilty of murdering their national hero, It might well cost us an ally of vital strategic importance to the West.
I see what you're getting at. But it doesn't sound like a ghost squad operation. How does it affect us?
The American authorities want to keep right out of this. Very wisely so. The communists have already suggested that Frank Maine was operating for an American government organization. And one official move on the part of America would be confirmation of this.
Who is Maine operating for?
A Cincinnati Machine Tool Company. The American ambassador in Lubanic is absolutely convinced that the whole business is a very clever frame-up, and that Frank Maine had nothing to do with the murder of Stefan Kubitz.
Nasty, very nasty.
Yes, isn't it? And that's why you're going to Lubanic, to find out who did kill him.
Just like that.
Just like that. Of course, we'll do all we can to help you on this side. But the moment you step out of that plane, you'll be on your own. So watch it. Winters, bring me in those papers, will you?
Right away, sir.
If you get into any sort of trouble, you will have no official backing. Is that clear?
Abundantly.
By the way, Craig, I've never asked you. Have you got any brothers or sisters?
Just a kid sister, why?
Oh, well, I've got a surprise for you. You show him. Now, you've got a brother. Your brother's Frank Maine.
Welcome to Lubanic, Mr. Maine.
Thank you. I don't suppose I need to tell you why I'm here.
To see him, I imagine. Well, see him by all means. But if you take my advice, you'll leave on the very next plane.
Any particular reason?
Two particular reasons, Mr. Maine. The first being that there is nothing you can do to help your brother by staying here.
And the second?
If it became generally known that the brother of the man who killed Kubitz was in town, I could not guarantee your safety. Excuse me.
Of course. If you'll excuse my next question, Inspector...
Kauska.
Inspector Kauska. Aren't you being a little premature? My brother hasn't been proven guilty of anything yet.
He will, Mr. Maine. He will. Cheroot?
No, thanks.
Yes, you're right. Very bad. I don't suppose you happen to have an American cigarette on you, huh?
Sure.
Thank you. No, not while he's on duty. I will, with your permission, take one for him for later. Now, where were we?
As the chief of police outlined the evidence against Frank Maine, I began to understand why he was so convinced the trial would be a little more than a formality. But I still had to get Frank Maine's side of the story.
Tell me something. Why have you come here posing as my brother? Who are you anyway?
Who I am doesn't matter. But posing as your brother was the only way I could get in to see you without too many questions being asked. Look, take my word for it. I'm here to help you. You got nothing to lose.
Only my neck.
Well, you're going to lose that anyway, unless we find out who did kill Kubitz.
What makes you so sure I didn't?
Well, to tell you the truth, Frank, I'm not sure of anything. That's why I want to hear your side of it.
All right. What I've got to say will take a lot of believing.
Try me.
Well, you know the case against me. According to the evidence, on the night of June 2nd, I'm supposed to have followed Kubitz to an apartment in uptown Lubanic and shot him in the back.
With a Browning automatic.
So I understand. Well, all I can say is this. I've never been uptown since the day I arrived. I've never owned a Browning automatic in my life, and all I've ever seen of Stefan Kubitz is his picture in the papers.
And yet the police say they have a witness who saw you leaving the apartment.
They also have a local gunsmith who claims he sold me the actual gun the morning of the murder.
Which they found in the back seat of your car.
Well, that part's true. I was there when they found it.
And the rest?
A frame-up. That gun was planted. All right, say it. A likely story.
I'm not so sure.
You believe me?
Well, let's say I have the feeling this evidence is a little too neat.
Yeah, it's just plain phony, all of it.
I just can't imagine anyone signposting his activities the way you're supposed to have done. Unless he wanted to hang.
I'm not exactly crazy about that idea, believe me.
All right. First thing, where were you the night of the murder?
Having dinner with a man called Koster. Andre Koster,
Who's he?
the Minister of Trade. I came to Lubanic to sell machine tools.
Well, surely this Costa was able to confirm your story.
No dice. Well, he admits that I was at his house for dinner. He still maintains that I left in plenty of time to knock off Kubitz.
Oh, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, that's what my lawyer thinks, too. But even he hasn't been able to get Koster to admit that maybe he was mistaken in the time I left his house.
What's he like?
Koster?
No, your lawyer.
Oh, he's quite a nice little guy named Jacoby. He's convinced that I did kill Kubitz, of course, but I can't blame him on the evidence. Even so, he's trying to do his best for me.
Well, maybe I can give him some help. What's his address?
57 Gania Street. It's an office block.
I'll be back.
I wish I knew why you were doing this.
Any man would do the same for his brother. See you.
Yeah, see you. Harry?
My talk with Frank Maine convinced me of one thing, that he was innocent. But when I went to see Jacoby, Maine's lawyer, I saw at once that I'd have to move fast if I was going to save Maine from being hanged.
Of course I'm doing all I can to help your brother, Mr. Maine. But with the trial only a
What
few
about
days
the
off-
witnesses? You tried to break their stories down?
Within the limitations of correct legal procedure, yes. But you must understand, it is strictly against the law for me to approach a witness direct.
For you, perhaps. But what about me? I have no official standing.
Oh, the worst thing you could do, Mr. Maine. Do you take snuff?
But the whole case hangs on the phony evidence of these witnesses.
I know that, Mr. Maine, but... Oh, excuse me. Oh, wonderful stuff for clearing the head, Mr. Maine. Wonderful.
Right now, I'm only interested in clearing my brother. And if you won't or can't get the truth out of these witnesses, I can.
Don't be foolish, Mr. Maine. If you are found interfering with any prosecution witness, you'll be lucky not to land up in jail yourself.
Well, let me worry about that. Just give me the address of the gunsmith who's supposed to have sold Frank the murder weapon.
Very well. Fate upon your own head.
And while you're at it, you can tell me how I can get in touch with Costa, the Minister of Trade.
Anything else?
Yes, the name of the witness who claims to have seen Frank leave Cubitt's apartment.
That I do not know. The police did not reveal it.
Well, the first two will have to do for a start.
There you are, then. But in my view, you'll be just wasting your time. I am sure Costa, for example, will simply refuse to see you.
Perhaps, but there's no harm in trying. Goodbye, Mr. Jacoby, and don't worry. If the police do pick me up, I'll leave your name out of it.
Thank you. It is not my name you should worry about, but that of your brother's, and the possible effect it might have on his case.
I'll bear that in mind.
Hello? Jacoby speaking. Maine's brother has just been to see me. Yes, isn't it?
The lawyer was right about one thing. Andre Costa refused point blank to see me. I knew that was one wall I'd never climb over. If I wanted to see Costa, I just had to find a way around it. So I sent a coded cable to London. When my cable was on its way to Sir Andrew Wilson, I called on the other name on my list, the gunsmith whose evidence could kill Frank Maine just as efficiently as any of the guns in his window.
Can I help you?
I was just admiring this automatic. It has a nice feel to it.
Yes, it's a good gun. Very reasonably priced, too.
I'm looking for something a little bigger, like a Browning 334.
I'm afraid I've no model of that type in stock. Never have had. But I think I know the sort of
A
gun...
Browning 334, like the one you're supposed to have sold Frank Maine.
Maine? I don't think I know anyone of that name.
The man accused of killing Stefan Kubitz.
Oh, yes, I remember. It was an old second-hand gun I'd had in stock for some time.
It was almost brand new.
Well, it may seem so because it is in very good condition.
Apart from the loose safety catch, you mean?
Yes, apart from that, but at the price he paid for it, it was still a good bargain.
You weren't briefed very well. There was nothing wrong with that safety catch.
Who are you? Why are you asking me all these questions?
I'm Frank Maine's brother.
Well, that still doesn't give you the right to come in here and ask me a lot of questions. And unless you leave this shop at once, I'll...
You'll what? Tell the people who are paying you to do their dirty little job for them?
I don't know what you mean.
Don't you? Well, they're not the only ones prepared to pay for services rendered. And I pay in American dollars. Come on now. Think hard. I'm sure you'll agree it was all a mistake. That you confused Frank Maine with someone else.
Yes, you may be right.
Payment on delivery. Getting the gunsmith to talk was easier than I'd imagined. The handful of money was all he needed to agree to tell the police the truth. That Frank Maine had never been in his shop, let alone bought a gun there. That was just the break I'd been waiting for. I made for the nearest call box.
Inspector Koska? Gunsmith.
That's right, Inspector. He's willing to talk. As soon as you like.
Where are you speaking from? Wait for me there. I'll be along in 3 minutes.
back already.
Oh, it's you.
Who are you expecting?
Oh, no one. I mean, no one in particular. Just a friend.
I just came to let you know you might be getting a visit from an American.
An American?
By the name of Harry Maine. If he should ask you any questions, be sure you give him the right answers, won't you?
Oh, yes, yes, of course. Rely on me. Allow me.
Now, where did you get an American dollar bill from, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact,
Lots of dollar bills, in fact. He's already been here, hasn't he?
An American was in here a short time ago, but he's not the man you were just telling me about.
And what did he buy?
A gun, of course. What else?
Do you know what I think he bought? I think he bought you.
It's the first right around the next corner.
Ah, he knows. You've been very busy, Mr. Maine?
If you mean have I been working hard to clear my brother, the answer is yes.
And with some success, it seems.
Too late.
Yes, you're right. We came too late.
My goodness, Mr. Maine, you're lucky I was around at the time of this shooting.
I know. I would have been the obvious suspect. Perhaps that was the whole idea. Frame me just like they framed Frank.
Ah, I think they were just trying to close this gunsmith's mouth. After all, his statement could have been very embarrassing at the trial.
Embarrassing? Would have blown the prosecution's case wide open. Say, you sound as if you have doubts about Frank's guilt after all.
Perhaps.
The inspector's attitude didn't help Frank Maine. The prosecution still had a very strong case. My only hope was that Sir Andrew Wilson would get me in to see the Minister of Trade, Andre Coster, the last lead on my list.
Winters, have they decoded Craig's cable yet?
They've just finished, sir.
About time, too.
I'll bring it straight in.
Right.
Here we are, sir. It's short, terse, and to the point.
Thank you. Right. Now I want to know everything we have on this man Coster.
Who is he, sir?
Andre Coster, Minister of Trade, Lubanic. I want his personal history, his background, political affiliations, the lot.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and just a minute, I want a new set of papers for Craig, another identity.
Such as?
Oh, something that'll give him a legitimate reason to contact Coster, some name, profession. I've got it. I wonder what Craig knows about tractors.
Tractors? Well, I shouldn't think they're in his line, sir.
Well, you better get busy right away. I want Craig to have enough information and sales literature to convince Coster that he's a tractor salesman from Baltimore. Right?
Right.
My new identity reached me in Lubanic, and I immediately checked into a new hotel under the name of Jimmy Bulinoff, tractor salesman from Baltimore. My first move was to fix an appointment with Coster. Wilson had pitched my credentials high. I was invited to dinner the same evening. Coster's house was only a few minutes' drive from the city center, and as I parked my hired car, I found myself talking business far sooner than I'd expected.
Hi, Captain.
Hi, yourself.
I clean your car, maybe.
Sorry, son. Doesn't happen to belong to me.
I clean it good, Captain. Everyone's saying the best car cleaner in the whole of Lubanic. It's only for 10 zloty. So please, Captain. General?
All right, 10 zloty.
In advance.
Uh-oh. Sorry, son, you're out of luck. Unless you've got change for 1,000 zloty.
Change.
Hey, you come back here. Why, you little...
You change, please, madam.
you are.
Many thanks, madam. Hey, General, wait! You forget your money here.
To tell you the truth, son, I didn't think I'd see you again.
You mean you think I take your money? But, General, that would have not been honest.
No. I guess I owe you an apology.
And 10 zloty.
Here. Take 20, huh?
20? Thank you, General. Thank you. Mama was right. Honesty is the best policy.
Mr. Volinov?
So he turned to the woman and said, Madame, if that's what you call a rose-like complexion, it's about time someone sprayed you for a green fly.
Mr. Bulinov.
Ah, Mr. Bulinov. Welcome to Lubanic.
Thank you, Mr. Coster. It was kind of you to invite me.
Not at all, my dear fellow. I'm always very delighted to see a representative of your country. May I present Madame Lubescu, Mr. Bulinov.
How do you do?
Mr. Lubescu, our foreign minister.
Your Excellency?
And Mr. Grutnik, my first assistant secretary.
Mr. Grutnik. It's an honor to be in such distinguished company.
Oh, nonsense, my dear Bulinov. Your work is just as important. Let me get you a drink.
Fine.
Vodka?
Thank you.
It would be a privilege to talk business with you. Perhaps tomorrow?
I'm surprised you decided to see me at all. The town is full of anti-American talk. I have a feeling you don't like us very much.
I still want the best tractors on the best terms.
Well, you can rely on me. Tell me, this Frank Maine, do you think he did it?
Who else could have done it?
Miss Anna Linska.
Ah, my other guest.
The dinner party was pretty uneventful, but the small talk told me what I already suspected. That Coster was no lover of the West. He'd be a first-class witness for the prosecution. If I wanted to help Frank Maine, I had to find a new angle and break Coster's evidence. And what better angle than Anna Linska, famous actress, society beauty, and a close friend of Coster himself. The party broke up around midnight, and I arranged to see Coster the following morning. But later that night, I decided to call on the only other man in Lubanic who was not fully sure of Frank Maine's guilt.
Mr. Maine, I'm very tired. I'm just about to go off duty.
This won't take a minute. Cigarette?
Oh, thanks. Well, what do you want to know?
Something about a woman named Anna Linska. Everything about her, in fact.
Why?
Well, I've got a hunch.
A pretty good hunch. How do you get onto it?
Onto what?
That Anna Linska was particularly friendly with our late lamented chief of state.
I didn't know that.
But it's true. Right up to the time of the murder. Miss Linska is something else, too.
Go on.
The other witness in the case against your brother. She claims she saw him leaving her apartment on the night of the murder.
Her apartment?
That's where it happened.
The pieces of the jigsaw puzzle were beginning to fall into place. As I arrived at Coster's house the next morning, another piece fell into my lap.
Hey, General, hey!
What, you again?
I'm always here. This street's very good for business.
You know something, son? You're the smallest big businessman I've ever met. What are you selling this time?
Same as before. Lubanic, very dirty place. Look, so much dust again already.
The answer's no.
But, General, you can't drive around in a dirty, filthy car like this.
Just watch me.
But, General, think what the neighbors will say. They will say, there goes a man who cannot even afford 10 zloty to have his car cleaned.
Well, I have no neighbors.
Then think what your wife will say. She will say, why is our car so filthy?
No wife either.
Girlfriend?
Nope.
No one? General, you're worse off than me. But don't you worry. I cheer you up. I clean your car for nothing.
What's your name, son?
Ricky.
Well. Here, Ricky.
50 zloty? What is that for?
To go out and buy yourself a little fun. You hang around here far too often. Wait a minute. How are you at remembering dates? Is there any chance you were outside here on the night of June the 2nd?
It is possible. That was a Saturday, yes?
Yes. And on that particular night, a man came to visit this house in a big American car.
American car. Why, of course, I'll remember. I never forget.
What makes you say that?
He still owe me 10 zloty, and that's why ever since I always ask for my money in advance.
Now think very carefully before you answer this, Ricky. What time did he leave?
That's just it. I wait here 3, 4 hours. He never came out, so at midnight I give up and go home.
Midnight, you said. He was still in the house at 12 o'clock.
Sure.
Get in the car a moment. I want to talk to you. Now, is this the man who owes you 10 zloty?
That's him.
You're positive?
I never forget the face of the man who still owes me money.
Ricky, would you come around to the police station and tell this to the inspector?
Police station? Oh, no, General. Sorry, but I could
Now, look,
never...
son, a man's life may depend on what you just told me. You've got to come with me.
Oh, no, General. You don't understand. The police and me, we don't like each other. If I go inside a police station, maybe they'll never let me out again.
Now, listen, Ricky, I don't know what you've been up to in the past, and I assure you I don't care. But if you won't talk to the police, will you talk to a lawyer?
A lawyer?
Yes. And you won't lose by it. I promise you.
Well, if you say so, General, I talk.
Fine. Now, what's your address?
89 Center Street, 2 blocks away, top floor.
I'll find it. Now, out you get. I'll be pretty tied up the next couple of hours, but I'll bring a lawyer around to your place this evening at 6:30, okay?
I'll be there, General.
All I want you to do in the meantime is to avoid getting into any trouble.
Get into trouble, General? Me?
Yes, you. Now beat it. I've got to see a man about a tractor.
Oh, hello, Mr.
Hello, Mr.
Bullinoff.
Coster.
Please sit down.
Thank you. My meeting with Coster didn't take very long. He wanted tractors badly and was only too glad to buy good ones. I collected an order for 500 Mark III tractors. Business was good, but I had an even more important date. Frank Maine was entitled to know that he now had a chance. With little Ricky to bear witness that he was in Coster's house at the time of the murder, Maine might well see the new year in after all. Hello, Frank. Mr. Jacoby.
Well, Harry?
You saved me a phone call. I want you to take a statement from a witness.
A witness?
A witness for the defense. It seems he can prove you didn't leave Coster's house till well after midnight.
Well, like I said, it was nearly 1 o'clock. Hey, this is wonderful news. Wonderful.
Who is this witness?
Well, it's a kid named Ricky. I don't know his last name. But we're to be at his place tonight at 6:30.
His place?
Well, I know it's unusual, but he has his reasons. I'll explain later. Oh, the address. 89 Center Street, top floor.
89 Center Street, 6:30, you said?
6:30.
Very good, Mr. Maine.
Say, how'd you get onto him, Harry?
Yes, how did you?
I have my methods.
Yes, I'm sure you have.
Oh, by the way, here's another name for you to work on. Anna Linska. Mean anything to you?
Yes, quite a lot.
Well, you might like to know that she's the third witness, the one who says she saw Frank leave the murder apartment.
That's quite interesting.
Isn't it? That's why she and I are going to have a nice little chat. See you in court, Frank.
From the way you're moving, you may even see me out of it.
Before calling on Anna Linska, I stopped off at my hotel. Hold it.
Ah, you must be Mr. Bullinoff.
Sir Andrew had arrived in Labanik just 2 hours earlier. As I briefed him on the situation, he filled in a lot of the background on Andre Coster.
We went right into Coster's background, and there's no doubt about his political affiliations. He's playing for very high stakes, Craig. And if Frank Maine's found guilty of murder, then there's little doubt that this country will end up with a communist prime minister.
Namely, Coster.
Correct.
On the other hand, if we can prove that it was Coster, not Maine, who was behind Cubitt's murder...
Then Cubitt's old party will get back into power.
With the kid on our side, we've got quite a good case. Now, if I could just break down this Anna Linska, we'd be home and dry.
Tell me, what sort of a woman is she?
Well, that's what I intend to find out. But one thing I do know for sure. The banner this Sister Anna carries is a big, bright red one.
Mr. Bulinov.
I hope I'm not intruding. But I enjoyed our meeting last night. And I was near your apartment, so I thought I'd call.
I'm delighted you did. Won't you come in?
Thank you.
How did you know where I lived?
I asked.
Well, I'm most flattered. I'd taken it for granted you never thought of anything else but tractors.
Well, there are other things in life.
I'm glad you think so. Can I offer you a drink? Oh, I'm sorry. Please help yourself. What? Yes, he's here now.
I see. Now listen, his name is not Bulinov, it's Maine. Yes, Harry Maine, Frank Maine's brother.
I see. Yes. Very well, Andre. But the boy, what about him?
You leave him to us. Just do as I told you.
Sorry to have kept you waiting.
Don't be. Can I fix you a drink?
Please, vodka. Yes, Mr. Bulinov, this is a most pleasant surprise. And now I have a little surprise for you.
You have?
No, don't turn round.
Very well. I'm intrigued. Come on, what is it?
This.
Is that how you killed Stefan Kubitz? You really bungled that, didn't you? Carry on like this and you'll never win a medal.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, don't be coy with me, lady. You know what I'm talking about. Killing Kubitz is one thing, trying to kill me is another. But the lousiest trick of all is framing an innocent man for murder. Why did you try to kill me anyway?
Because you're becoming a nuisance, Mr. Maine.
Mr. Maine, eh? News certainly travels around this town fast. But let's get back to Kubitz. It was you who killed him, wasn't it?
Of course. But you'll never prove it.
Tell me, what makes a girl like you murder? Power? Prestige?
As it happens, I was really fond of Stefan. He just got in the way, that's all. But why discuss it? You'd never understand.
No, I wouldn't understand. But I'll tell you this, Anna. If Frank Maine does hang for murder, I'll make sure you don't live to profit by it.
I'll take my chance, Mr. Maine.
Don't push your luck too far.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Maine. Oh, by the way, why did you come here in the first place?
I had the idea I might persuade you to tell the truth in court tomorrow. Quaint, wasn't it?
Very.
As I made my way up to Ricky's apartment, Jacoby was waiting for me on the landing. Hello. Are you Ricky's mother? I'm Mr. Maine. Maybe he told you we were coming around to see him.
He's not in.
Oh, he's not home yet, eh?
They took him away 3 hours ago. Why they take him away? Ricky's not a bad boy.
Who took him away?
The police, 2 detectives. They say he's been stealing. Sure, he steals, but only the little things, just things to eat when he's hungry. He's not a bad boy, no.
Idiot inspector of all this. You wait here. I'll be back, and I'll bring the boy with me.
Americans. They're all the same. But very good cigarettes.
Come on. Where is he?
Ah, Mr. Maine.
Out of all the petty thieves in Lubanik, you have to arrest our one and only witness.
What witness?
A small boy named Ricky something or other.
There must be some mistake. We haven't arrested any small boys today.
His mother said 2 detectives came and took him away about 3 hours ago.
On what charge?
Oh, petty theft, shoplifting, something like that.
2 detectives. Now I know there's some mistake. We haven't got 2 detectives. His mother must play some joke on you.
She's not joking. Or lying. Someone took him away. You say you didn't. But I think I've got an idea who did. Excuse me.
Mr. Maine, I don't understand.
I'll explain later, but that boy's in trouble. And if anything happens to him, I'll never forgive myself.
Trouble, nothing but trouble. Sometimes I wonder why I ever took this job.
A man has to make a living somehow, Inspector.
This is living?
Come away from that window. Put that down.
Don't you touch me.
I said put that down. You weren't trying to get away, were you?
You can't keep me.
I can. You will stay here till the boss has seen you. Drop it. I said drop it.
Leave him alone. Get out.
But, sir, he tried to break out through the window.
He's safe here. Leave him with me.
I'll catch up with you later.
You kicked him?
Sure, I kicked him, and I'll kick you if you come near me.
I won't hurt you if you do what I say. You needn't be afraid of me, Ricky. Not if you're sensible.
Don't come near me, or I fight.
How would you like to earn some money? Not 10 zlotys for cleaning a car, but real money.
What you want from me?
First, you forget what you said about the man, Maine, and the time he left my house. You just forget. You understand?
I understand.
Next, you see your friend the American and find out who he really is.
Who he is? But I know who he is.
Oh, no, you don't. First he's one man, and then he's another. I want to know who he really is. You help me find out, Ricky. You will earn a lot of money.
You want me to spy on the general? That I will not do. He is my friend.
Find out all about him, Ricky. And remember, you know nothing about Maine. You'll be well rewarded. Far more than this American could pay you. You understand?
I understand. But I won't do it. For once I tell the truth because it helps my friend, the general.
How stupid of you. If you won't say what I want you to say, you'll have to be kept here until the case is over.
I had to find Ricky and find him fast. I made for the only place I thought he might be. It was dark as I arrived at the back of Costa's house, and that suited me fine. If the boy wasn't there, my only hope was that he was still alive. Hello. Take it easy, Tiger.
General, how did you find me?
Pure luck. Come on, let's get out of here. Just isn't his day, is it? Come on, kid.
are we going?
To my hotel. I'm not going to take my eyes off you until you've given your evidence.
Evidence?
Tomorrow morning in court.
In court? But, General, I do not like such places. Too many policemen.
Nothing will happen to you, I promise. As a matter of fact, the police inspector is a very good friend of mine.
I understand. You give him plenty money, eh?
No, I don't. Where do you get ideas like that, for crying out loud?
General, this is Lubanic, not New York. Things are different here.
That I accept. You still haven't given me your answer.
What will I have to do?
Just tell them exactly what you told me, that's all.
And the judge will believe me?
Why shouldn't he?
Well, I'm a very big liar, General. Often.
Son, compared to some of the other witnesses, you'll be another little George Washington. What do you say?
Will you be there?
I'll be right next to you.
Okay, I go.
That's my boy. Out you get.
He is getting out of his car. He has the boy with him.
The boy? Impossible.
How did he do it, Excellency?
How do I know, you idiot? But this finishes it. The instant they open the door, we get them both. Understand? Now perhaps you realize why I came here with you. There's not one of you I can trust to do a job properly.
One tries one's best, Excellency.
Then try your best to keep your mouth shut. They'll be here any moment.
General?
What is it?
Now?
Can't you wait until, Come on. Sorry about that, kid, but this place isn't safe anymore. Come on, let's get out of here.
Yeah, a long time. I wonder why.
They're coming now, Excellency.
What's the matter with this thing?
If you will use a hired car, General.
We'll be using a hired hearse if we don't get out of here fast.
Where we go now?
Well, you know, Lubanic, you tell me. Somewhere they won't find us between now and the trial. There they go. Well?
Let me think now. Ah, I know. The hut. Take the first left.
First left? You're the boss.
General. They never find us here.
What is this place?
Just an old woodcutter's hut. I often come here to play. Make yourself comfortable.
Thanks.
Oh. I am sorry, General. I know I shouldn't have laughed, but you did look so funny.
I'll bet I did.
Pretty cozy, eh? I wouldn't mind living here all the time.
Very cozy, Ricky. You don't have much of a life in Lubanic, do you?
Oh, I don't know, General. It's not so bad.
But it could be better. How would you like to come to England?
England? Me?
Why not? If you save that man's life in court tomorrow, I'll owe you something. We'll all owe you something. So if you'd like to come back to London with me.
General, I do not know what to say. It is a great kindness. London, England, it is what I've always dreamed about.
Well, don't worry right now. Just think about it. Then if you would like to go...
He isn't going anywhere, Mr. Maine. And neither are you, Mr. Maine. No, hands on the table, please.
Take it easy, kid.
No doubt you are wondering why we just didn't shoot you down on the spot.
I am, rather. After all, your speciality is a bullet in the back, isn't it?
What's your speciality, Mr. Maine? Please, I'd like to know who I'm working against. You are no more Frank Maine's brother than I am. So who are you? And who are you working for?
I don't suppose there's any sense in denying anything. Very well. I'll tell you the whole story. It all started... Run, kid!
The boy.
As Anna Linska gave her evidence, the case against Frank Maine looked very black. She was not only beautiful, she was a most convincing liar. And that was a combination powerful enough to impress any jury. Our only hope was the appearance of Craig and his witness. But when Craig did show up, his expression was hardly encouraging.
And as I drove up to my flat, I heard a pistol shot. And then I saw that man over there in the box. Well, he ran out of my flat, and he had a gun in his hand.
What's happened, Craig? Where's the boy?
Shot Mr. Cooley.
I don't know. If he isn't here yet, Coster must have got him.
Come on. Come on.
General! I come, General! I come! I had in wood all night, then I went all the way here.
You're safe now, son. And by the looks of it, so is Frank Maine. Where's the kid? The plane leaves in half an hour. Yep.
Hey, General, hey! Sorry I'm late.
Where are your things, then?
Look, I hope you don't think me ungrateful, but I cannot go with you to England.
Why not?
Well, I have been thinking. If I go with you, who will look after my mother?
I see. If that's the way you feel.
Yes, I think so. But you will write, maybe?
I will write. I won't forget you, Ricky.
Neither will I, son.
Well, now, I don't want to hurry you. We must get in that airport. Goodbye, son.
Goodbye, Ricky. Look after yourself.
Goodbye, General. Just a moment.
Yes?
You still owe me 10 zloty. I clean your car, remember?
I remember. Here. That fix it?
All this? Oh, no, it is too much.
For saving my life?